All right. So this is Computer Science 115. 1769 is the section. It's a Java class. It's called Essentials of Programming. It is ICC's CS1 class. I currently teach 3 sections of this. They're all full, by the way, which is crazy. What's also crazy is my classes are almost always all men, and there's a lot of women in this class, so that's kind of cool. So we're going to meet once a week, okay, for 2 hours. So a lot of this is going to be put on you because I'm not going to be able to cover everything we need to cover in 2 hours. I do have 5 office hours a week. They're all at the same site, okay, during the week. And I am available with email also, of course. We'll go over that in a minute. But you realize this is an 8-week course. So you're responsible. I mean, if I figure that out, in a normal semester, you're supposed to have 4 hours of class time a week in class. Then the federal guidelines is that you should have 2 hours of that outside of class. So that's another 8 hours or 12 hours a week. Well, you're doing this in half the time. So in reality, if we look at it, you should be working on this course 20 to 24 hours a week, or about 3 hours a day. Okay. So just so you know that. Okay. That's the expectation of, and it's going to depend on if you know how to program before, which you don't need to, how fast you read, how fast you type, how logical are you, things like that, how fast do you catch on to stuff. Okay, so it is an accelerated class. I am going to share my desktop. What's kind of cool again is if we were just in a normal semester, I would be standing in front of you in a classroom. I would not record this, and you'd be responsible for copying everything, the whole shot. This way, I think you get added value. In reality, I should charge you more. Not really, but because you're going to get a beautiful video of me that you can go and use to go to sleep at night or something. I don't know. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share the whole thing. And now you should be able to see my screen. Somebody say if you can.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes.
All right, that's good. Again, there is a class participation thing for this course, so don't forget that. Okay, and I'm going to go over to Blackboard. Oops, I think I am. All right. So you guys are this one right here, 1769. Our site, a classroom site for office hours and everything is always this number unless I tell you something else. This is just kind of an introduction. Hello, how are you? If for some reason you have to go to ICC, these are the COVID rules for the school. You have to go to a website, sign in, get a green sticker or whatever it is on your electronically before you're allowed to go to ICC. But if you don't have to go, then you don't have to worry about it. This is my contact information. My email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. And during the semester, here's all my office hours. And like I said, there's 5 of them a week. Talk more about other ways to get help. These 2 videos are little videos I made a couple semesters ago. So some of the details might be a little bit off, but you kind of get the idea of the course. You just have to assimilate the information. Okay. So you'd watch those on if you want to on your own time. Definition of a college office hour or an hour is given up here. The big thing about it is that it's verified by evidence of student achievement. In other words, you can't just come to this class and say, hey, I was there every day, I should get a C or something like that. Doesn't work that way. Course description, okay, you might read over it once and then I wouldn't worry about it because everything's in Blackboard that you need to worry about. Required text is now see, I just saw this earlier. Okay, is this one? Not this one. Okay. If you had this class previously and left the class and you have the version 11 of this book, the 11th edition instead of the 12th, I cannot guarantee you that they're exactly the same, but I will help you to try to assimilate them together. I don't think there's that many updates. I don't know. I checked the first lesson and they were the same numbers and everything as far as the assignments. So I'm assuming it's pretty close. Okay. That's the text. NetBeans, you need to have NetBeans, okay? I won't let you use Eclipse or Microsoft Net. You have to use NetBeans, preferably a newer, around 11 or later would probably be a good thing. And it does install. Somebody said she went to this site though, and it was different than we just. Who was that? Somebody speak up. What's your name, young lady?
It was me.
Yeah, we went to someplace else. We just typed in Java download, okay, and did that. And then we went to NetBeans download and we took the most current ones. You have to install Java first and then NetBeans, and it installed almost seamlessly. Did it not?
It came out really well after we did that.
Yeah. So these might be a little old. I'm not positive on that. Anybody having troubles installing? Speak up.
No.
When I went to download Java, it said the Oracle website was like down for the moment, so I'm gonna try later and see if that's different or unless I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, just grab the newest one you can. Okay. It shouldn't be down, I wouldn't think. It's Oracle. So you might want to Google download Java is what I would do. Okay. All right. General course information. I own this stuff for the most part. Well, whatever belonged to the text or whatever publisher. I made all this stuff up. If you're going to email me, I need to know what class you're in. Like I said, I have 3 of them. And you guys are going to be way ahead of the other classes. So you have to put this on your email to me when you ask me a question, or I'm not going to be able to answer it. I don't have the time to figure it out. Okay. Office hours are listed here. And again, they're via Zoom. If you need help, I think they're going to have tutors. You have to get a hold of academic support and tutoring through the library. And they do have a live chat at certain times a day. Your due dates are weird, okay? So the first part of the week, since we meet on Tuesday, your first lesson every week will be from Tuesday to Saturday. So you have to turn it in on Saturday. So everything in lesson 1 is due Saturday. And then lesson 2 will be due next Monday. Okay, and I'll open that up. It isn't open yet, but I'll probably open it up either later tonight or tomorrow morning. And they're due on 9. One is due on Where do I go here? Midnight Thursday. So chapter 1 is due 9 a.m. Saturday, and chapter 2 will be due on 9 a.m. Monday, and that'll just keep going. So 3 will be due on the following Saturday, and then 4 will be due on the following Monday, et cetera, et cetera. Contact expectations. Believe me, I'm not trying to hide from you or whatever. I'll answer your emails as fast as I can. Again, on the weekends, it'll take longer. Or if you email me at night, it'll take longer because I don't stay up and answer emails all night. This is one reason you're going to want to know people in the class. Okay. I find that the more people you know in the class, the better off you are. The retention rate jumps up if everybody knows everybody, because then you not only have me to go to, you have them to go to. And I'm not saying you can go to them to cheat or get copies of their programs, whatever, but I am saying that they can, maybe you say, hey, how did he do that? You know, kind of things. But don't be giving your programs to anybody else. I'm good at noticing that, by the way. Knowledge leveling. Again, somebody said they've programmed before. Put that in the back of your head. You cannot use anything in your programs to solve any problems that I have not introduced in the class. Okay? Even if it would make the program easier to write. Okay? And I'm not trying to dumb down the course, but we have people you just start, we're going to start at the same place and we're going to end at the same place. Okay. So again, don't use anything like even you can't, in the first lesson, for example, the programs would be a lot better if I allowed you to use variables, but there are no, you haven't been introduced to variables in the first chapter, so you can't use them. So everything will be done hard-coded, which makes the programs virtually worthless, okay? But we're going to use literals in the first chapter to do the course participation. There is a participation thing. If you drop the class, whatever, they'll come to me and say, hey, what day did they drop? The last day that I give them is the last day that you turned in an assignment that was passing. Okay. That's what I give them. I go to your portfolio. I look what you turned in, whatever the last date that you turned in something that was satisfactory is the date. I give them. If you don't come to class, you will get administrative removed from class. I have the option to lower your grades if your work is always late. There's no, I don't give incompletes, and I'm pretty much over the my computer crashed, the dog ate my computer, was stolen out of my car, because you should be saving your stuff to the cloud, and you can do that in your ICC email. The same waffle that you're seeing over here on the left-hand side of my screen, if you click that, you go to Google Drive, you have a Google Drive already set up for you on when you log into your ICC email. You just click on that waffle, go to it, and that's your Google Drive, and you can store whatever you want there. So saying you lost it or whatever ain't gonna hack it. Okay, grades, 93 to 100 is an A, 85 and up. Anything under 70, you're failing. So if you, at the end, when I add up your points, you get a 92.4, what grade you gonna get? Anybody?
B.
B.
A B. How about a 92.5?
Still a B?
Okay.
B.
No, you're going to get an A. But the guy that got the 92.4 is going to come to me and say, hey, Doug, that's 1/10 of a percent. So what is that? 1/1000th of a point. Okay. And you know what I'm going to say? You know what? If you would have studied 1/100 or 1/1000th more, you would have got that A. Okay. No incompletes, extreme hospital. Yeah, if you're in skeletal traction, I'll go for that. Family death is kind of iffy. I had one girl, she must have killed off her whole family off over the semester. I mean, she was down to her boyfriend's second cousin or something like that until I made her start bringing in funeral cards, and then she dropped the class. So, why are my grades higher than others? Because you're my students. Okay. Is the percent in the Blackboard grader correct? No. Two things when you go to the grader in Blackboard that you should see and do. One, did you get a grade? Normally, I grade the week after your stuff is due. Or in your case, I'll grade twice a week. Once after Saturday and once after Monday. Okay? And if your grades aren't showing up, then something's wrong. Okay? The other thing that you need to do is if most of the stuff in my classes were 10 points. If you're getting 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, something like that, you're doing fine. If you're getting 1s and 2s, something's wrong. You need to get a hold of me. I'll tell you this. If you get a 0, that means you didn't turn anything in. If you get a 1, usually that's like a flag coming up that says, hey, you need to redo this. And then you can redo it. I'll put a redo, I'll type it in your grader, and you redo it, and then you at least get some points. It might not be the 10, but you will at least get points. And points are points. It's the only way you pass this class is to have enough points. And then it says, why did you give me this grade? I don't give anybody a grade. You earn exactly what you get. I don't round. I don't have a curve, whatever. If everybody gets A's, everybody will get an A. If everybody gets an F, everybody will fail. I might reconsider teaching as a career, but for the most part, that's what happens. This is how to save to your ePortfolio. I'm going to show you how to do that anyway. Data storage, I already told you about your Google Drive. What you should know, you need from anything that started 23 minutes ago through the next 16 weeks, you need to remember it all. It's not like taking a geography class where you can learn about Illinois and take a test next Friday on Illinois, and then we're going to move on to Indiana. Everything that you learn today, you're going to build on throughout the semester and on to subsequent semesters with Dr. Elishimi and Dr. Sun. Different types. This is new with the COVID. You guys are on an online scheduled class. Means you have to come to class. Blackboard gradebook, I already told you about that. This is the student handbook. The reason it's here is because of these 5 things. We're going to try to have integrity. We're going to have a responsibility for learning. We have a community. We're trying to be lifelong learners, and we're going to strive for excellence. It also tells you what happens if you cheat. Okay? Any questions about this housekeeping stuff here?
Yeah. Just on the 2 lessons a week,
Yeah.
is there any way you could post both the lessons out after this meeting? Or
They'll be split up.
Okay.
The 1 is already out there. 1's there.
Mm-hmm.
2 will be there either today or tomorrow morning.
Got it.
Gives you
Okay.
the same amount of days. It gives you 4 days for each one.
Gotcha.
Okay. And usually I post them before. I open them up usually before it says. Like here it says I'm going to put them up on midnight Tuesday and I forget what the other one, midnight Thursday. I'm going to do it before then. usually. Give you that little extra time. Knowledge leveling, we talked about that, right? Yep. Contact, course grades, we talked about that. Assignment submissions, we're going to look at that. What you should know, those. Student handbook, we're good. Anybody else? Okay.
Just a
But
homework.
go ahead.
When I ordered my textbook, I have like the loose leaf version, but it's still the same
Shouldn't
thing.
matter.
Okay.
Shouldn't matter. As far as I know, anyway. Yes.
So for the homework, how's that gonna work? Like, will it be like you give us a task? And
Oh,
we're-
no, you have a program. You have I'm going to give you a program out of the book and you're going to solve it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You'll see here in a minute. Okay. General course and programming conventions. All right. Everything, again, it has to be in a zipped NetBeans folder or I won't grade it. I don't have the time. I have 75 computer students alone, not counting the 50 in computer science 120, and then another 25 in Linux. So it has to be done the way I say. I'll show you how to do that. This is what the heading on all of your programs will look like. You have to have the name of the program. The name of the file is this. The author, which is you, the date, and what is it? And it isn't, the purpose of it is not to solve lesson 1, exercise 3. No, it's the actual, what is it? Same thing for the program name. You don't put in chapter 1, exercise 15. It's what is your program? Pretend you're not in a class. It describes what you're actually doing. Okay. Data types, you need to take a look at those. I am going to let you use 3 different types or more than 3 different types. But you need name, place, and memory that stores data that may change. That's a variable. So we need to be able, just like in math or algebra where you save a number to a variable, we're going to do that. And then we have constants, something like pi, 3.14159. Sales tax might be a constant. A nickel's worth 5 cents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we need to name those, okay? So we're gonna, they will be, oh, I did that already. I'll show you the ones we're gonna use. All right. So we'll use Boolean because we need to know if something's true or false. We'll use char because that's a single letter. Can be, or single character. Can be a number, it can be, but it's only one number. So it can be 0 through 9. It could be A, B, C, D, E, F, G in uppercase. It could be A, B, C, D, G in lowercase. Byte, no, probably not. Integer, a whole number without any fraction, or we call them floating point. If it has a fraction, it's called floating point. You can see a float here, but we'll use double for most of the, what we're doing. And these all have to do with the size. And if we wanted to be more economic, we would pick the right size for the right integer. And one I could tell you though, if I was saving the population of the world, can I use integer to save that?
Yes.
Yes.
No. It only holds up to 2 billion.
Long.
This holds up to 9 billion. Okay, or more than that even. All right. So you couldn't use a integer to store the population of the world. It'd be too small. Too small of a mailbox to save it in. Look at this one. Floats and doubles are ones that can hold fractions. This one would hold anything up to 3 point If you move the decimal point 38 spots to the right. Big number, right? But not as big as this one. That one's 308 to the right. Okay. Strings are anything you don't do math with. Okay, so say your social security number. Is that a number? What are you going to save your social security number as?
An integer.
As a string.
Yep, as a string. I've never done math with my social security number. Okay, so that would be a string. I've given you some examples down below. I don't expect you to memorize the ranges here, but I do expect you to know these down, an idea of what they're used for. Okay. So that takes pretty much that. Naming conventions, there are, what I won't let you do is I will not let you use single letters. And programmers always want to do that. Okay. And the book's going to do it, but you're not going to do it. If you do, you'll lose points. And points are points. So if you use an X, a Y, a Z, an I, a J, whatever, you're going to lose points. You should have all your variables and your constants should have meaningful names. Okay. If you, what you call it? The names are case sensitive too. So the normal thing for naming a variable, if it has one word, it's all lowercase. Okay. It's just all lowercase. If it's more than one word, you can use camel hump, which looks like that, where the first word is lowercase, then you have an uppercase second one like that. Or you can do, where's the one that I was going to show you? I don't care if you use underscores. Okay. So you can use like first letter like that. You cannot do that because it can't start with a numeral. Same thing here, you can do that. Okay, you can't use spaces, things like that either. And you can't use any abbreviations that I don't know what they mean. Or it's better like this. If you walked up to somebody and said, hey, what's your ABC? And they don't know what ABC means, then you can't use it. If I walk up to you and say, what's your SSN? Would you know what I'm asking for?
Yes.
Most of
Yep.
you would, right?
Yes.
Okay, same thing. If I came up to ask you and said, what's your DOB?
Yes.
Yep. Date of birth.
Yeah, date of birth, right? Now, if I came, like I said before, if I come up to you and say, hey, what's your ex? You might say, oh, I was married to her a long time ago. No. But you know what I'm saying? What's your Y? Or what's your Z? Or what's your, you know, ones that normal people would not know. You can't use. If you know what Hungarian notation is and you want to use it, I don't have a problem as long as you use the right ones. Okay. So here's some examples of how to declare a variable. In shirts, sold like that. In pants, go like that. I don't want you put in, you can put more than declare them more than one on a line. Don't do that, okay? Declare every one of your variables on its own line. Same thing with constants, and there's an error down here I'm going to fix because I forgot to put final. Again, a constant is a name, place, and memory that cannot be changed during program execution. So we type the word final in here, and now those cannot be changed. They'll always be the same throughout the program. Next thing is a little, in programming, normally we read from right to left. So this really says right here, it says, take 0.085 and assign it to a double tax rate variable. Okay. Or 0.085, assign it to tax rate, which is a double. This one down here says, check to see if 20, or take 21, is it equal to the person's age? So you'll notice this one has two equal signs. And this is a norm for Python, C++, C, and Java. They all use this configuration. Okay. So you'll make the mistake, but you'll learn over time that it won't work that way. Questions over the programming conventions? All right. Portfolio, that's where you're going to save your programs. And I'm going to show that to you when I write a program with you here in a minute or two. Send email. Okay, you can email anybody in this class. So let's say we're having a party and we want to invite everybody, including Doug. We would click on all users. Okay, just like that. Let's say that, hey, let's have a party and not invite Doug. You would click on this one. If you're going to say, hey, let's trick Doug, have a party, or say we're going to have a party, and we'll only invite him and none of the rest of us will show up, you'd click this one here. And then this one here is, hey, let's invite Bender, Boyd, and Valeri to something. Okay, so you can pick whoever you want to come. So it's normal email. These automatically go to your ICC email, not to any other email. Grades. We already talked about this, but once you start getting grades, they'll show up here. You can see this one's worth 10, this one's worth 11, 10, 10. This one here that says test on Blackboard site material, you have to get an 11 out of an 11. So you just keep taking it until you do that. Discussion board. You're not going to have a lot of them, but you do have a biography. Again, my reason there is I want you guys to meet each other. So you click here, you post the thread, create a thread, you type your biography, and then you go to other people's biographies. Like here's Tori, I'll go here. And then you can see that Rachel's already responded to her. So she's got one of her replies. You need to have two. You at least have to, the minimum you should have is 2 in this discussion board. Okay. You'll also notice that there's an FAQ here. In other words, if you find something out that could help other people, you might want to post it here. Again, you do have a part of your grade is participation in that, or you might see that somebody has a question here and you might be able to help them. So I provide you that. I'm not going to go here and answer questions unless I have some spare time, but most of the time it's just for your use as a student. All right, online office hours, you know where they're at. Help. These are the people that you can get a hold of depending on what you need to do. And once again, my office hours are there. There was a little thing here prior to class, blah, blah, blah. Basically to install Java. Lesson 1. There's a program example, submitting it to your ePortfolio. Lesson 1. Here's that test on Blackboard. Again, you got to get 11 out of 11. But let's go in here And that's the install used Ant. And you can see there's programming exercises here. These come right out of the book. Here's your biography. You got to do that. Take a look at the default sizes. I might have a quiz, something you should be aware of. I'm not a big believer in midterms and finals. Okay. I am a big believer in that you need to know how to program. So most of the stuff that you do, most of your grade will be based directly on programming and the programs that you turn in. So I'm going to write a program right now. I'm going to write this number 1.9 with you. And you can follow along if you have. So I have my NetBeans doc down here at the bottom. So I can just go here, click on it. Again, if you have questions, you just spout them out. Be courteous or whatever.
Could you repeat what you just said about questions, sir?
You just spout them, whatever. You just talk.
Oh, okay then. Where do I put the JDK, whatever that means? Yeah. When I'm installing NetBeans.
Where do you put it? Where I would take the default.
It doesn't give me a default. It gives me a browse button. I don't know where to put it.
Then you're in the wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
I've never picked where my JDK goes. So
Hmm.
you got something going bad already.
Okay.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would say your systems folder or system 64 folder. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you load it up. Okay, it should look like this. If you go to File, New Project, you should get this screen. And we're going to use Java with Ant. You cannot use these up here. Okay, and then we're going to hit Next. And this is where we're going to name it. And this is what I'm just going to call it Rectangle. And you can see I've got mine set up here on my desktop. So my program's going to go to my desktop. Oh, and it says I already got one there. Oh, hang on a second. I'll just make it rectangle, rectangle 2. How's that? Once I do that, it's going to set all this up. And that's what should pop up, something that looks like that. And I'll show you what's in this. I'll expand these out. So here's the file that you're looking at right here. This is a container called a package. And later on in the class, we're going to have more files in the package. Okay. So you always have to have this line right here must always be first executable line of code. Okay. These aren't executable. They're rummed out. They're remarks. You can see they're a lighter color, but they're also in between this slash splat. Splats are asterisks. If I say bang, that's an exclamation point. Okay. Kind of a geek thing. All right, but this is this file. It's in here. It's also in my source package in this program right here called Rectangle 2. So I'm going to go up here and put in the required internal information. So the first thing I need to know is what is the program. And I'm going to put the Acme rectangle program or something. And this is the name of the file, which is rectangle.
Did you want splats in the beginning of those?
Did
you want to put the splats in the beginning of those?
You don't have to if you want them
Okay.
there. Anything between here and here is a comment. She's asking, do I want the splats there? If you want the splats there, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to indent them a little more, okay? So I'll put them in if you want them. So the date, I don't care what date format you use. So you can use, what is today, the 18th? Or no, it's not the 18th. What is it?
It is. It's the
It
It's
is
18th.
the
18th.
18th.
Jeez Louise. But you can use whatever date format you like better. And then the author is you, not me, unless your name is D. Peterson. And then the purpose is a simple program using literals to display the area and perimeter of a rectangle. Okay. So like I said before, this program is virtually useless. The more literals you use in your program, the least, for the most part, the less valuable it is, because you're hard coding in values that can't change during program execution. But this is going to show you how to print and things like that. So we got that top. So you'll do this on every program. And you don't, like I said before, you don't put that this is lesson 3, exercise 5, none of that. You're acting like you're in a company and you're writing this for your boss or whatever, for a customer. I do this. I prefer that you line up your braces, and there shouldn't be anything between this brace and the other brace that it lights up. In NetBeans, they'll light up yellow. You can see all this stuff over here is inside this structure, the class structure. These down here are going to be this right here is inside this procedure, which happens to be the main. Just want to show you that that's not up against each other. Java Docs puts this in. Java can be what do I want to call it? It can record itself, what you're doing, using something called the Java Docs. We're not going to use Java Docs, okay? So your basic setup for every program would be what you're seeing right now. They're all lined up. All the stuff's out of there. We will put something like this here. A divider. And later on, we'll have more procedures. And so you'll have these dividers. What is that for? There's 2 things we're going to do in our programs that are very important. One, our programs are going to be eventually be user-friendly. By that, I mean, we used to call it this, and this is not the nomenclature I use now, but we used to call them idiot-proof. In other words, if the program crashes when you type a letter in for a number, that's not good, okay? We want our programs not to have an abnormal ending, or what's called an ab end. So what we have to do is make it so nobody can type in a number when they're supposed to type a letter, and they're not supposed to type a letter when they're supposed to type a number. And we can prevent that, okay? Also, spelling. I'm a big critic of spelling. Why? Because I wouldn't want to buy a program from somebody if I go to look at their program, either as a programmer or as a user, and there's misspelled words in it, I'm not going to have a lot of confidence that their program is any good. So I will take off. And I'll tell you some words that you want to remember right now. Nickel. Nickel is spelled N-I-C-K-E-L, not L-E. Another one, Celsius. Celsius only has 1 C, not 2, has 2 S's. Fahrenheit, it's H-R in the middle. What other ones? Those are most of the. Oh, February is another one. So make sure if your spelling's bad that you correct it. And it doesn't matter if it's up here in the comments or in the program themselves. Again, any questions? So this is the basic scheme for now. For right now, all your code's going to be in the main. We're going to break that down later on. Again, because we want to have some type of, we want to modularize later on. And we'll make modules and put our code in modules so that we can reuse it. Luke, what's up?
What is the second comment you have? We have the program name. What is this rectangle Java? What's that mean?
That's the file itself right here.
Okay, got it.
So mine
got
should
it.
really say Java or rectangle 2, right? Because that's what that says. This is a keyword that refers to anything in this class. Okay. So later on, we're going to use that keyword to do stuff. When we, at the end of the course, like in week 14, when I introduce classes to you, where you can build your own, we'll use that. Hopefully that's kind of an explanation. So now we're going to go ahead here and write that program because it's kind of, so it's system.out.println. There's 2 types of prints, or actually 3, but for right now, there's print that you don't get a carriage return with or line feed, and print line, which you do. So I want a carriage return. And so this is going to be something, whoa, that's way too many. So this is going to be the Acme rectangle program. Something like that. All statements end in a semicolon. Okay. And you'll see the little squiggly line went away. And then system.out.println. And then this one. What was it, 4.5? 4.5 and 7.9. 4, 5 linear, or just units is fine. Hang on a second. I'm in class. Thank you. Bye. Probably a robocall anyway. Semicolon there. So anything in double quotes is just a statement that's going to be printed. What do I got going there? That's right. I don't know if I like that wording, a rectangle with. I'm going to change that as a width. And I spelled length wrong. Jeez. If you see me doing something wrong, you can point it out too. Because believe me, I'm not infallible. So then, so when you're programming, you never want to type and type and type and then try and run it. So I got this much done in the program. So now I'm going to try and run it. I'm going to save over here and then run it by clicking on this green. You can also hit F6, or you can go up here to run and run the project. But normally I just press the green button. Wait a second or two. and boom, it shows you what you did so far. And if it comes up green down here, that's good. If it comes up red, you got a problem. Okay, so we're good up to this point. A space in there. Again, you want to have the proper number of spaces in here too. And this is going to be 4.5 times, we use a splat or an asterisk, but 4.5 times 7.9 plus, oops, space, square units. Notice I put a space here, so that's not going to be right up banged against the number. And we'll run it and see if that line works. And it does. Again, don't worry about this for right now. I'll show you how to fix it later. Okay? We're very precise here. One thing you need to know is that, what is the square root of 4? Anybody?
2.
2.
2, right? Do you know that sometimes if you put that in here, it'll come up 1.999999? You know why?
It's because of something to do with how it stores the numbers.
Yeah, it's the computer runs on binary, right? The binary number system. So we'll work on how to fix that also. So, but it runs faster because it doesn't have to convert things to the decimal system. The decimal system does not work well with computers. Okay. Because a bit is nothing more than, is there power running through the circuit or is it not running through the circuit? So it's either true or false or 1 and 0 or open and closed, however you want to work. So it works real well with things like binary, hexadecimal, and the things like that. Also, this is a smart, and sometimes it drives you nuts. I know it does me. You could turn that off somewhere. I don't know where it is. If you don't like those prompts coming up. So then the next one is the perimeter of the rectangle is that. So these numbers right here are numeric literals. This stuff right here is alphanumeric literals. In other words, they're going to print out exactly what they are. So this one's going to be plus 2 times parentheses 4.5 plus 7.9. You notice I put those in parentheses, right? Because if I didn't, it would have multiplied these first. Again, same as algebra. The precedence would have multiplied the multiplication first, and I would have got 2 times 4.5 or 9, and then it would have added 7.9 to it. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to get one side and then the other side and then multiply it by 2. Okay. Need a space right there. And I think that's good. Let's see what it looks like. So that's right. And we'll just do another little cool thing here and just put
What kind of literal did you say the black text is?
Those are numeric literals. In other words, numbers. Things you do math with. Alphanumeric, we don't do math with. And see, it's got the red line under there. That just means, and you know what? Here, if you put your mouse over it, it tells you what that red line, what's wrong. Okay. So then we're going to save this. It should run. We'll check it one more time. There you go. There's your program. This is one of the homework assignments. And then I can go ahead and close this because I know where I saved it to. I saved it over here onto my desktop. And that's the rectangle 2 one here. I'll go ahead and get rid of this one. And I'm going to do what I need to do is so this is the NetBeans folder. You're not going to go inside there, even though you could, and look at this stuff. You don't want to do anything to that. Okay. All you're going to do is right click it, send to compressed zip folder, right like that. It's got the zipper on it. If you don't get that when you right click on the folder, you probably need to install something like 7-zip or that so that you can zip that up that easily. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to my portfolio and I'll just pick somebody out of here. Let's say e-portfolio. And eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who do I want to pick on? No, I'm kidding. Boyd, I know is. So I click on my name. So you're assuming that this is you doing this. File exchange, add file. And again, what is it? It's the rectangle program. It's not lesson 1, exercise 9. I browse my computer. I make sure I'm on my desktop where I left everything. And here's rectangle 2. And it's the compressed zipped folder. And I hit open. And it says it's there. I hit submit. And boom, it's in there. And it gives me the time and that I completed it. Okay. So this is how you're going to put stuff in. And if you can see it, I can see it. Okay. Don't email me and say, Doug, can you look and see if I put my homework in my portfolio? If you can see it, it's in there. If you can't see it, it's not in there. Okay. Okay. So there's
I have a
one
question about the code.
Uh,
I have a question. If you could go back to the code for a second.
Sure. Hang on a minute. I gotta delete this. Not that Mr. Boyd would copy it or anything. Okay, let me go back in here. I'm almost hoarse today because I have been talking all day. So again, you see when I opened it up, it just said rectangle there. So I just open all these and then double click this one and boom, there it is. Yeah, I come into some students and they'll have all their programs still in here. When I'm done with one, man, I close it. Okay. Okay, so who had a question?
Yeah, so given the strictness in syntax and spelling on variables, does that follow as well to arithmetics? In
Why do I
particular,
got some
line
math done?
21.
Huh?
If you look at line 21 in the
Yeah.
multiplication before the parentheses right there, usually, you know, in normal convention, you would have a space. No, line 21.
Here.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to put a space?
So should there be a space after the multiplication sign?
It doesn't matter. Space,
So, okay,
space
so
does
even though
not.
it's easier to read,
Yeah, you can put it
I
in
know it
there.
doesn't matter. I understand it doesn't matter programmatically. I understand it works.
I'm not going to
but
hit
I'm
you for
saying
something like that. Okay.
that's my question.
No,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
no, that. But it again, it looks better if I don't put here. Let's look at this one though. So if you do this, okay. Now why didn't that? Thought I had it right. Linear units that knocked me down there. Oh, I put a plus linear. Oh, that's weird. Hang on a minute. See if it does it again. There. See what happens now? If I take that space out, you could read this and go 24.81 in ears or whatever. So you can see it's probably better. I mean, your program will be okay, but you should have the space in here. And then it looks a lot nicer than crowding everything. So proper spacing. Notice here, they're all spaced correctly, okay? Any other questions about the code?
Just a quick question. You mentioned that you usually close out your projects off to the left there.
Yeah.
You just when you say that, are you just deleting them out and you reopen the
No, I close them because I saved them somewhere else. Okay.
So for some reason, when I close out everything and then open up NetBeans again, I still have older programs still in that projects pane.
In here?
Yeah.
You shouldn't if you go here and sit close.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess that's what I was looking for.
Yep.
I see. Okay, thanks.
And like I said, if you want to, you can see here, open a recent project and you get this little pop up, boom, there it is. And again, if you want to see the whole, where it's really at, you expand those out. Okay. There's a couple things up in here. A lot of times when we get going later on, your programs, we'll be messing with it and you'll run it 20 different times and sometimes it won't do what it's supposed to do. Up here under run, you see this clean and build project. Okay. If you click that, a lot of times that will clear up anything that you think is right, but it's still showing it as wrong. So you have that. You have all this stuff here, normal editor. This one's kind of neat here, replace. Like if you wanted to change one word in your whole program, you use this and it'll go through and do it automatically for you. So if you get used to some of this stuff, this is go forward, this is go backwards. Another thing, when we get to doing bigger programs, and let's say that you worked on it all day and you're just done, and you save it. The next day when you start over, okay, so you've put in, let's say you put in 8 hours and you've gotten to a certain point. I would save an additional copy somewhere else, okay, just in case on the second day you screw it all up to the point where it's unretrievable. At least you're only going to lose that amount of time. You can go back to the one that you know was running previously, if you know what I'm saying there. Okay? Nothing wrong. It doesn't take hardly any time at all to save a second copy. Once you save something to your portfolio, when you take it out, you need to remember, if you go and you make a copy of it, to get a copy, you have to unzip it before you can run it again. Okay, it won't run right if you don't. Any other questions?
I just have one.
Go ahead.
What's the purpose of the package line, the first line? I was never taught to do that.
Okay. When we start building bigger projects. We're gonna, if you don't have that package line there where you can put other files in here, you're gonna have to specify exactly the path to those files. If we put them in here, then we'll be able, the program can find them. And I don't have to put, okay, this part is on C / blah, 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 blah. And I want to use that in my program.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay.
My previous teacher made us do that.
Yeah.
for
So
everything.
we'll put them all in this, and then they can see each other automatically. But it's a good question. Any other people?
Would it just be more beneficial if you zip it till when you're finished and just leave it unzipped until after you finish everything? Like say, like you said with the copy thing.
It's up to you. I mean, yeah, I would, if I was still working on it, I wouldn't zip it because I'm not submitting it. The only time you need to zip it is when you're going to submit it to me.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's that one. Let's go. I'm going to get rid of this real quick.
I believe I have one more question.
Go ahead.
When you save your program, does it automatically make a file folder on your desktop, or do you have to?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what NetBeans does for you, and that's why I use it.
Okay, perfect.
Wherever you save to, it doesn't have to be on your desktop, but whatever you save to, it's going to make that folder. Okay. In other words, I just don't want the Java source file. Okay. I want the whole, like if I go in here, I'll show you something. This is just a plain text file. Notice I'm in Notepad. So I could write Java in Notepad if I wanted to. Okay. But it doesn't afford me like the IDE does, the integrated development environment, to have those tools that show me when something's wrong, for example. Okay. So basically, it creates that folder for you. You put your stuff in there. It also, oh, let me go back to that. I'll show you something else. In there, if you go to, where is it at now? I could be able to even find it. Anyway, that's not where I want. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so that's that one. So you would put it in your, and you'd have that one done. In lesson 2, let's go ahead and show that link. Why is that? Well, that's not good. There we go. All right, so this is the second one. These are due not on that day. So we can make this due, this will be due Monday, I believe it is. Is it not? Let's see, what I have down there now, I can't remember. General course info. Specific due dates, so midnight Tuesday to Saturday, midnight Thursday to 9 a.m. on Monday. Should I do it that way? Let's see. Let me just think for 1 second. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's 5 days, or 4 days, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think that's good. Okay. So Monday at 9 a.m. So where was I again? Forgot what I was doing. Oh, lesson 2. Okay, so this one's going to be due at 9 on Monday, 24th. Okay, so videos, come here, convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, okay? And then you'll have this volume of a cylinder and cost of driving. This one is pretty much, okay? Now in this one, by the time you get here, I think in chapter 2, they start using variables. Okay. So we'll take a look at this one real quick. So I'm going to go back to NetBeans, get rid of this one, open a new one. Again with Ant. I'll call this one cylinder. I think that's right. All right, and so then we're going to get rid of this and type in program, the Acme cylinder calculator or something. Jasper, get out of Grace's cage. Friggin' dogs. Okay. I think is it the radius or the diameter? Don't much matter. All right, compare the volume of the cylinder. Okay. Okay. So enter the radius and length of a cylinder and returns the volume, I think it is. So that's a simple explanation. I'm going to get rid of this. And I can do this if I want. I'm not too concerned about this one. Let me get rid of this. Two ways to make comments. If you have a group comment, you use this /splat and //. If you got a single line one, you just do //. And you can put that afterwards too, okay? So this one here is void main. All right, so now I got to explain a couple of we need to be able to get data from the user. Okay. So we have to import something. So what we have to import is called a scanner. And it's going to go up here and you're just going to put import Java utility scanner, like that. So that's a library. Somebody wrote a program that allows you to, we put it in the program like this, and then we can use it to get information from the user. And you don't have to worry about writing that. You just have to instantiate it. In other words, it's like a blueprint, and we're going to make an object from the blueprint. Like we're going to build a house from it. Okay. So I'm going to say scanner, my scan or something, or my in, or whatever you want to call it. My scanner is equal to a new scanner that has system.in. And that's your keyboard, actually. The green line you would get under here just means you haven't, look, just says I'm not using it yet. So I haven't used it, okay? So then I can say system.out.print, no print line, enter the radius of the cylinder. Okay. And so that isn't going to put a line feed in. And then I'm going to say, okay, how long or what is the radius? Now, what variable type, what data type should I use? Anybody got an idea?
Int.
What if it's 6.5 feet?
Double.
Double. Okay, so double radius is equal, or is assigned the value of my scan dot next int, or I'm sorry, next double. Okay, so there's that one. The next one is we need another one. Okay, enter the length of the cylinder. Okay, and let's just see if those work and not crash. Enter the radius, I'll put 10.5. Ran the length is 1020.5, and it doesn't crash. So that part of my program works. I think up here, though, I'm going to add something, a little header. So I'm going to say system.out.println, and I'll just do the Acme cylinder calculator. So it kind of has a little heading. The user knows what it's used for. All right. Now watch what happens though. If I come here and it says enter the radius and I type the letter A and hit enter, my program crashes because it can't do that. I can't store the letter A in a double. It's not the right data type, okay? Don't worry about that for now. We will fix it once we learn how to do loops. And so now we're going to say double, and we're going to say calculate the, what is it? Areas equals pi to radius times pi. Oh, let's go up here underneath this one. My mouse is kind of crazy. What did I do here? Hang on. Okay. We're going to say, let's see, double final pi is equal to 3.1459, let's say. Is it going to make me put private in front of not a statement? Great. I don't know if I can put that double final, or is it the other way around?
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, might be. Yep, likes that better. Okay, so this is, again, all capital letters, value, and it's a final, okay? So then we need double volume is equal to pi times radius times radius times length. Now, in Java, we do not have a way just mathematically to do exponents, okay? There are tools like, I think it's, what is it? I think it's math dot, and then, I just had it in my head. Is it power?
Yeah, I think so.
Or POW? It's power.
I could spell it out. Power. Nope, did right there.
No, POW. So you can do math. In this case, you would say radius. I'm sorry. POW. Radius. And then 2. Would be the same thing as doing radius. Now, normally I would do radius, and I might even do it 3 times. Anything after that, I would go ahead and use this. Okay, those two things are the same. Okay. What I don't want you to do is you notice how I declared this variable here? I don't want you putting this calculation in your print statement. Do not do that. You do your calculations first, and then you print out what you want to print out.
Yeah, the in there twice.
Oh, what's wrong? The.
Just as a general question, I see you have your comments on the right side of your lines of the code. Is that how you prefer for us to write comments? Or
If you have something, you can put them there or above it, or those are just so for your benefit, I'm putting those in.
okay, so you don't exactly care exactly where the comments
Again,
are.
most of the stuff you're going to be doing in this class, you won't have to have. You'll have comments like this, these dividers, but in none of our programs that we're going to do, is there anything really that has to be explained to another programmer? I'll put them in to explain it to you guys because you're learning. But other than that, you know, if you want to put a comment in for your own benefit so that you can remember stuff, that's fine. Okay. So I'm going to save and let's see if this thing runs. And I'm going to start off with something simple. Okay. So I'll put in 10 for the radius and 10 for that. And I know it's right because if I take 3.14159 or 3.1459, I put that in there wrong. Multiply it by, let's see, the diameter is 100, and then the length would be 10, would be 1,000. So 3 times 1,000 is around 3,000. So I tested it with something that I know for sure. If you don't know for sure, then it's 159. Then go to Google. Watch. I mean, if I go over to Google, get out of my way up here and say cylinder calculator. And that pops up. It gives me the formula, if nothing else. And I put 10 here, and I put 10 here. And you can see this is what we should end up with. Well, if we don't, either Google's wrong or my program's wrong, right? So I come over here, run it. And I get 3.314159. And if I go back to Google, 3141159. So my chances are that it's probably, my answer is pretty good. Okay. So there I've done 2 programs with you. One from chapter or lesson 1, one from lesson 2. Okay. And again, if I wanted to put this in my portfolio now, geez. All right, save that. Close it. Go back over here. And there it is. I right click it, send to, compressed, boom. And now I put that in my portfolio. Questions?
I have a question about when you're putting in the amount of equal signs for when you're in the program.
Yeah.
Does it matter how many you put in?
Oh, you mean for like decoration?
No,
They
like
don't even have to be equal signs.
like when you're doing the void
Yeah.
main thing, does it
You can
matter
make
how
it whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make them asterisks or splats. You can, however you want to design it. It's just like a header. What's up, Luke?
In the program, you used system.outprint at times and
Yes.
system.outprint
Okay,
line at
let's
some
look at
other
that.
times.
Let's look at it real quick. Okay, so when I do that, if I use print, that means I want the user to put well, we'll show you. Look where the asterisk is. Right here. If I put print line, they'll be entering the stuff down below. It's just a matter of preference for me that I like to have them put the stuff in there at the end. Okay. Versus underneath. In other words, if I put print line here, I'll show you what it looks like. Now see where it's having me put it in? It's underneath versus having it out here. And again, it's just a matter of my preference. You can do whichever one you want. Doesn't matter to me. If you like it down here better, that's fine. If you like it out here, that's better. Or that's fine, I should say. Don't care. Won't hurt you either way. Space doesn't matter. That's no different than when it was over here. Okay. That doesn't matter either. If I run it right now, it just does the same thing. Other questions?
The void main, I got with all the equal signs, like class cylinder, that's just like for ease of understanding what stuff's going where, correct?
Yeah, that's what it means. That should have been out there. See, this one aligns with this one. Oops. This one, if I click on it, aligns with this one. So I know all this stuff is inside this main. Because again, later on, we're going to put stuff out here. We can have other stuff out here. Other questions? This should probably be indented here.
When will you be posting this video on Blackboard?
As soon as I can compress it and get it up there.
Okay.
It takes Zoom about an hour, one like this, maybe 20 minutes or more to compile it into something that YouTube can. But once I get it done, I will text you. It may be after I eat dinner, but it'll be there sometime this evening. Other questions?
Are we still going to be doing the 2 assignments you went over today?
Yeah. Yep, they're part, the one I did, the rectangle one, that's part of lesson 1. And cylinder is part of lesson 2. So these are the ones for lesson 2. And lesson 1 is out there too. Now, lesson 1, does everybody understand what this means? Display a 4-letter word graphically using the letters that make it up. In other words, I want you to draw like the word, if I was going to draw the word Java, I would use letters and draw them. There, let me go back real quick. Don't do these together. You always submit your programs individually. Do not zip them all up together. Okay. Now let's go back to this one.
There's an example of this program on page 31 of the
text.
text.
The book. Yeah. But let me see here if I got anything. I don't. Oh, yeah, I do. Hang on. What, did I move it or something? Recent programs. No, not there. Okay. But anyway, you're just going to go in here and do like system.out.print. Print line. And the J will start out probably like J. You can do any 4-letter word, but let's pretend we're adults and do ones that are, so V might have that there, and then V would have one there, and then another A out here. Okay, that's the first line. Then the next one would have same thing. And then the J would be, I don't know why it offsets like this, but it does. And you're going to have to play with it a little bit. It's like A space, space, A. And then maybe the V goes here, maybe here. I don't know, V here, V here. And then another A here. See how close I can get. I haven't been lucky with this lately, but you'll have to play with it a little bit. Again, this would be a separate program, not in this same one.
So while you're doing that, I already submitted my my programs over the weekend, and the only thing missing was the comment above the class and the method void main. Will I get docked for that? Should I resubmit it and add those 2 comments?
The comments are all you're missing?
Yeah, you know how you put a comment above the method void main and the class rectangle in the other program?
If that's the only thing you're missing, that won't hurt you at all.
Okay, so that's not something you expect in every program then?
In every program, yeah, but if you didn't do it in the first one, I'm not going to kill you over it.
Thank you.
So you can see here now, hopefully. I'm starting to spell Java out here, right? This one's all over the place, so it needs to be fixed and that, but you kind of get the idea that I'm trying to spell the word Java. And you mess around with it, take out spaces, put in spaces. Let's see, what do I got that's bad? That one needs to come back over 2 spaces. Let's try that. Okay, so I'll take 2 out of here. See what it looks like. It's a little bit better. This one over here is crazy though. V. Oh, I went the wrong side of the V, it looks like. Oh, not really. Backspace. Backspace.
If I could ask, just what is the ANT or ANT thing when we select?
It's just one of the systems. The other ones won't give you that main and all the other. It just is one of the ways to write different programs in Java. Not all Java programs have all the stuff we're putting in. Like later on, I'll show you something here. But you guys get the idea on this one now, I hope anyway. And you can spell out any 4-letter word you want. Pick an easy one if you want. So now let's say that I wanted to do something else here. I could come up here and let's see, what do I want to do here? New project. No, I don't want to do that. No, we ain't doing file, new file. So I could come here and say I want to add a Java class to this. So I click on that, hit next. It says new class. I'll say circle or something. Okay, finish, boom. And there it is. It's in the same package, but you'll notice here, it doesn't have a main because the project can only have one main because that's where I'm running the program from. If I go over here, I can't run the program from here. Okay. So we need to know, and again, there's different programs, different stuff you do with Java that we're not concerned with right now anyway. So then safely delete, and then you hit if you remove a name over here, you want to rename something, you have to refactor it. Okay. So it changes it everywhere. In other words, if I wanted to rename this to something else, I would click on it, hit refactor, oops, and it would say rename. Then it'd say here, and then it says, do you want to rename, apply rename on the comments and everything else? Okay. So it would change everything. Wherever rectangle 2, whatever I change it to, it would change everything to read the right way.
And where did you go for that, sir?
That was in, if you just right click on it, you go to refactor, and then you can do things like this. I can delete it, rename it, but it's going to try and do it safely. Okay. So it doesn't mess up your program. Or you'd have to do it manually. Other questions?
I have one. So when we are creating all of our programs for like lesson 1, do you want us to have all of them in like one folder and then compress that folder and submit it? Or should we every assignment separate?
You'll have 3 folders.
All right,
because I download them at different times. So I don't want them all in the same folder. I have to download them out of your e-portfolio so I can grade them. So I would rather download them individually because then I can do them. I can do 1 hour, then come back later on in the day and do the others. I don't want them all at once. That help?
Yep.
Anybody else?
For the 4-letter word assignment, can we use names?
Yeah, you can do your own name. Well, depend. Again, let's make it R-rated or less anyway. How's that? You can make it anything you want. I really don't care if it's a word, as long as it has 4 letters. And you can't just do I. No. So I guess it does have to be a word.
I challenge someone to do Elon Musk's son name.
Oh, what is that kid's
whatever
name?
that is. Zai12
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Do they get extra credit?
No. It's like Frank Zappa's kid was Moon Unit. Was his name.
At least that doesn't have numbers.
Right. Anybody? All right. So that's my song and dance for this week. I will see you back here, same bad time, same bad channel next week. I am available during the week in office hours or via email. All right. So you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I will. You're welcome.
Thank you.
See you later.
And I'll put
Thank
the
you.
video up as soon as I can. Okay.